Now, the third thing there is around is Schopenhauer. And Schopenhauer is a figure who is, as you all I'm sure know, extremely important for Nietzsche, and whose social position is very strange. That is, Schopenhauer belongs chronologically and biographically to the old early 19th century. That is, he belongs to the world before 1848, as far as his training and his education and his worldview is concerned. But during the period before 1848, he's completely ignored, and he comes to be understood and comes to be appreciated only after 1848, 1849. So he is, as Nietzsche says, deeply unzeitgemäß. That is, he's a figure, Nietzsche uses this German term again and again, zeitgemäß, to be zeitgemäß or not to be zeitgemäß, to be in conformity with your time, in harmony with your time, or to be out of harmony, out of sympathy with your time. Now this is an important point because, of course, the Hegelian system is precisely devoted to the idea that philosophy must be zeitgemäß. Hegel says again and again, the philosopher is always a child of his time. No philosopher can jump over his own shadow. Philosophy has to be its own time grasped in thought. So philosophy has to be part of the existing form of cultural life, and it has to be appropriate to the time it lives in. Nietzsche has this view, which he applies to Schopenhauer, which is a more romantic view, which is, no, the really important philosophers are not philosophers who are zeitgemäß. They're not philosophers who grasp the spirit of their time in thought. They're people who are out of sympathy with their time. This is probably connected with his love of Wagner. As you know, Wagner said again and again he was writing Zukunftsmusik. He was writing music for the future. So Wagner says, I'm writing music, and it's not music that can be played now. You can't play my music now because there are no theaters that could put my works on. There are no singers who are trained in the appropriate way. There's not an appropriate public. So I'm writing works of music now that are not zeitgemäß. They're not made for this society. They're made for some utopian society that will come about in the future. So Nietzsche has a little bit of this romantic gesture about that is a little bit of this tendency to emphasize the importance of a philosopher being out of touch with his times, and he applies that very much to Schopenhauer. He says, look, Schopenhauer lived during this early 19th century period, but he couldn't get a proper university job. He was excluded. His works were not read. The first edition of one of his books is pulped. It's only afterward, toward the end of his life, that he becomes important. So this is that is one thing that is around there during the time when Nietzsche is